This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, make sure you're watching our podcast on YouTube. Is that what is it? What's the word? A jumbo shrimp? What's the word? With two opposites. Watch the podcast. Anyway, you get my point. Check us out on YouTube, the PR Podcast. You can watch the show as well as listen to the show, and we're in a video world. Much more fun to watch and get to know our guests rather than just hear their voice in your AirPods. So check us out, the PR Podcast on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Now let's get on with our show for today. We got a great guest. Jennifer Acree is the founder and CEO of JSA+Partners, a strategic communications agency she's led for more than 17 years, working with major consumer tech brands including Yahoo, Sphere, Electronic Arts, Exploding Kittens, and Character.AI. She's known for blending strong storytelling with data-driven strategy, most recently through launching Fogline, a proprietary measurement platform focused on meaningful insights over outdated metrics. Boy, don't we know those. In 2025, after losing her childhood home in the Palisades fire, Jennifer mobilized her network to launch the LA Strong Comms Coalition, delivering more than $150,000 in pro bono PR support to small businesses and securing national and local media coverage to aid recovery efforts, demonstrating the real-world impact of public relations. We love to hear that. Jennifer, welcome to the PR Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Jody.
Tell us a little bit about JSA+Partners. You've got some terrific clients there.
Thank you so much. No, we've been very fortunate to work with great partners. We started the company. I'd been at Yahoo for about 9 years prior to that, and had a lot of deep relationships, both internally and in the community. I'd been around for a while, and so when I started JSA, I really wanted it to be sort of a different kind of agency. I really wanted it to be a strategic partner, and our clients, to feel like our team was an extension of their team. I'd hired and fired many agencies over my career. I'd worked at big agencies in a past life. And I just really felt like there was a niche at that time for kind of a smaller, more boutique agency that was really strategic. I actually didn't set out to build an agency. I kind of was just going to be a consultant for a while till after I'd left Yahoo, to figure out my next gig. But I ended up really liking it. And I really liked working with startups and a lot of my old friends from my past lives, and, just ended up working out. And here we are 17 years later.
Fantastic. And what were the things that sort of inspired you to say, hey, this is really growing on me. This is really working? Because we have a lot of people who listen to the show who are wondering about going out on their own or toying with the idea. Was there a moment that you said, yeah, this is going to work?
That's a great question. I mean, I think it was kind of a slow roll. I remember probably about 6 or 9 months into me starting JSA, where I thought, okay, I started getting some headhunter calls. Do I want to go back in-house to a big agency, or, in-house to a company, or go to a startup or something like that? And I really didn't want to do those things. Like, none of the things that were coming to me were appealing, and I actually really liked what I was doing, which was helping founders and people I'd worked with in past lives and other things that had come for me for strategic help, to say, this is really great. Like, I really like working with these founders and on their communications objectives and their messaging. Like, how are we solving these hard problems? And I just really liked it. And I really like that collaboration. And I also really like, sometimes I think the outside perspective is super helpful for internal people, because they get you're so wrapped up into your own life. And I think in your own meetings and your own ecosystem of the company, to have an outside perspective, I think can be really, really helpful. And that's what I wanted to bring to our clients.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been in-house and I've been at agency as well before I started my own firm. And no doubt that I, on a personality level, much prefer agency, partially because I get to work on lots of different things. And I think when
Right.
you're in-house, even if you're working on different projects, it's still kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And you can
Yeah.
get awfully close to the product and the people and lose the perspective that an outside agency can bring, like you said.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's also just helping them kind of see around the corners a little bit more than you have from that outside perspective. I also think when you've had internal experience, I always frame the feedback that I give to my clients based on how I would have wanted to receive the feedback. So, for example, in when I was at Yahoo, I had I had meetings from, 8 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. I might have a little break in between, but if I had got something from one of my agencies in between that, that was something that I could go, oh, great, this is a perfectly, I know exactly what this email, where this needs to go. I don't need to rewrite anything, and I'm going to forward it on to the person that needs to see this, that can kind of keep the ball moving while I'm in all these meetings. And I think my biggest pet peeve was when, I'd get something from an agency partner that was poorly written, or they weren't getting it, or it was something that I was like, this isn't right. I need to rewrite this, which meant that, my already 9 to 10 hour day was now 12 to 14 hours. And so I always sort of frame it, how do we deliver something to a client that they're like, this is great. This is clear, concise. I can just do something with it and move the ball along, as opposed to have to rewrite it and get really frustrated that I'm doing that at 9 o'clock at night.
Well, that's why they have us, right? To take work
Well,
off
right.
their desk and to cut through all of the mess or circumnavigate all the problems and say, here's the thing, here's the issue, here's how we're going to fix it. Ready? We're going with this, right? And you can just
Right.
say yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's fabulous. Talk about the clients that you represent and sort of the decision making that goes in to bring on some of the clients. I mean, I frequently say I love running my own agency because now I get to say no to the people I really don't want to work
Exactly.
with.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
when you're working for someone else, you don't have that luxury. Tell us about some of the clients that really get your pulse racing.
No, that's a great question. I mean, I love the variety of them. I mean, Yahoo is sort of near and dear to my heart because I worked there for a long time, and they sort of had a new management and brought in some great communications professionals that we support. But when we started with them, they didn't really have that support. So we were kind of that, almost acted as that sort of that in-house team. And as their team has grown internally, we work to support them. So I love working both ways, kind of with those comms people, to help them to create their programs and execute on their programs, as well as we have a lot of smaller startups that, we're working with founders, we're working with the CEOs, we're kind of more in the weeds with them because they don't have internal comms. Some of them don't even have marketing. So I love both things because you kind of get a taste of both, like working with comms professionals that really get it, that already kind of speak your language, and then sort of the ones that, have maybe never done a media interview, and you're training them on the fly or teaching them what off the record means versus on background, that type of thing. And then, we do a lot of crisis communications and things like that. So Character.AI is an AI company that's um, been in the news quite a bit the last couple of years. And so how do we help reposition them and do things like that? But they, same thing. There's no internal communications for them. So we are their actual communications framework.
Is there a particular type of client that really brings you gratification? I mean, you talked a little bit about working with folks who either know something and need your assistance to make it even sharper, or taking someone from zero. Or maybe are there pitfalls that some clients can fall into in working with an agency like yours? Not knowing how to work with them or not knowing how to leverage them best? I mean, how do you describe to them what you can do for them the best? What do you excel at?
I think what we excel at is really being able to think from a macro perspective, going into a company and saying, what are the salient points? Like, you might be describing something as X, but have you thought of describing it as Y? Because it is kind of confusing or in the market, like really trying to, I think, crystallize the messaging and positioning of a company is something where we really shine. And then bringing that macro perspective of what's happening in the industry, of how you can do trend jacking or respond, relationship building with reporters or like all those different tactical things that you do. But that kind of stems from having that framework of the right positioning and then what's your plan of attack? Like what's your strategy to kind of get there from A to B? And I think those are kind of the big things that we've seen as really moving the needle ongoing.
And because you have so much free time on your hand, not only do you run JSA and Partners, but you also created Fogline to tackle
Yeah.
something that PR people have been dealing with since the start of PR, which is how we measure things. Give us your
Yeah.
insights on measurement and tell us about Fogline.
Yes. Oh gosh. Okay. So the thing that I love about what we've built with our measurement and data solution is that we are PR people that saw this issue and then we created this to help ourselves internally. So this is a real example. So a couple years ago, we had a client in gaming that was based in Europe, and we were their firm in the US, and then they had a European firm. So what we wanted to do was make sure they had one, end of year report that had, all the results kind of together. Like, why would a client want something from Europe and something from the US? We wanted to have like one cohesive end of year report. So the other firm sent us their results, and it had, RSS feeds, it had all these syndications, it had, broken sites, like things that actually really didn't, um, that weren't measurable, and then they really weren't real results. So we had to basically comb through all of their measurement and say, gosh, that is those aren't real. So that process, it was like an all hands on deck, middle of December, got to get this out before the end of the year exercise where we really, it took too much time from the team to really being to try to comb through these results and make sense of them. And so we thought that there's got to be a better solution for this. So we brought on a consultant, an engineering consultant, to kind of help us solve that problem. And it was working so well ongoing, not just with these end of year reports, but ongoing tracking and really being able to show actual measurable results for our clients, that we brought that person on full time about 2 years ago. And he has been building our basically software that we're now calling Fogline. And so basically, what we're able to do, we can pretty much measure anything, but and everything is customizable for our clients. We're also now white labeling it for other agencies. So we basically we kind of have a personal mission to make PR and communications, just as trackable as our marketing cohorts have said for years, right? As that, everything needs to be measured. And so we can measure message pull through and executive thought leadership and, basically anything that you want to measure year over year, month over month, and then also make them actionable. So we might see in the data that there is kind of a white space for a certain executive to be out talking on a certain topic. And so we can actually suggest that based on what we're seeing from the data of where are the areas that we want to lean into. So it's not only just the measurement, it's how do you actually take those results and make them actionable. And we've seen tremendous success with that. So both with our current clients and then the ones that we're actually using for our white labeling. So one of the firms that we've been working with, they're a health and lifestyle company, and they had a client that was so excited with the results that they were seeing using JSA or the Fogline software that CEO of that company posted it on his Instagram. Then another big company in the health and wellness space saw it and actually hired them because they'd seen those results. So not only can it be used as a retention tool for clients, but it can also be used for an acquisition and for new business development.
It's such a great perspective to have that, every client has a different version of what measurement will do for them.
Yes,
And I think so many get wrapped up in, well, what's the ad value of this? Which is the last measurement tool that I think any of us want to be using. Because, an ad does not equal a feature article. An ad
right.
does not equal a fantastic 3-minute feature on 60 Minutes or whatever.
Exactly.
So you've got to really extract the data and the value out of it, and it's different for each client.
Exactly. Exactly. And with our larger clients, like we'll sit down with them. To your point is, someone who might consider one outlet a tier one is actually a tier three for a different outlet. Maybe there's a Substack that is highly valuable to one client and the other one it's not relevant at all. So I think customization and being able to have those conversations with your clients in a strategic way also really just helps in your long-term relationship and that credibility factor.
That's great. We're definitely going to put a link in the show notes so that people can get in contact with you and hear more about Fogline.
Happy to talk to you.
But wanted to do a pivot here into your personal story. We said at the top of the show about how the Palisades fire was devastating to your family, but how you took that loss and changed it into action. Tell us a little bit about that time in your life, and how you transformed that into helping others.
Yes. So obviously January 2025 was not wonderful. But I think we, like you said, there was obviously the devastating fires in Los Angeles that not only hit the Palisades, but also hit a very different, but also in LA area called Altadena. And so I was a lifelong Palisadian. My parents moved there in 1972. I went to school there. My daughter had gone to school there. Our whole community was there. Um, Luckily I was not living in the home. My parents were living in the home. So luckily we had a place to live. So my mom now lives with us. But I think the one I just started seeing a lot of the people that I knew, especially in the Palisades, that not only lost their home or their kids might have lost their school and they're scrambling not only where to find a place to live and where their kids are going to go to school, but they're also struggling with, I just lost all the inventory for my company. And I had one friend that I'd known for many years. Our kids had gone to school together. I actually saw her on CNBC, and she was talking about she had a bartending business and a drink business called This Girl Walks Into a Bar. And she had done it was she lost all her bartending equipment that was all in her garage. And if for those of you have home businesses or know people that do, a word to the wise that if you do not have special business insurance for your inventory, even if it's in your home, that is not covered by your homeowner's insurance. So, uh, not only just Jordan, Girl Walks Into a Bar, but several other of our LASCC clients basically lost everything. Yeah, they lost everything. So, what I really wanted to do, and this was an idea that came from a senior member of my team, like how do we as communications professionals help? And obviously this was a personal issue for me, but it also just really helped in my own recovery because I was felt like I could do something. And I think my team and then we recruited, I'm on the USC Center for PR board. I helped get the word out through them. The rest of my network, we did posts on LinkedIn. And we just really tried to recruit a bunch of communications professionals that could just sort of jump in and help. And I think we were really successful at it. I'm really proud of what we did. We've had about 100 different stories over the past year. We did a lot of outreach to the Altadena community because I didn't personally have a network there, but I really wanted to help that community as well. Um, and so we just developed this whole program that we're also now trying to systematize so that we could use that as a playbook for other disasters for communications professionals across the country. Um, I'm working with the Milken Institute. They are doing a framework for small business recovery from natural disasters. So we'll be a part of that. And then trying to figure out ways how we can kind of just serve as this playbook for other people to help. But it's been super rewarding. I wish I had more time in hours in the day to do more, but I think we've done a really great job, and we're still going. Some businesses are coming back, so we're relaunching them in their communities and telling their stories. But I think a really critical point is that PR has been a huge driver of their business results over the past year, and we have a number of examples from the different companies that we've helped.
It's a great story to hear, and congratulations for doing that. Because I think it's something that is baked into our DNA as PR people. We are
Yes.
beyond being storytellers. We're also, I find, at least I am, incredibly eager to help. We always
Right.
want to help someone because we always want to help
Right.
tell their story. And most of the time we want to tell it just because it's a good story. Like
Right.
we're not even necessarily worried about the contract or
Yeah.
the fee but
Yeah.
we just know that wow, this story belongs there and let me help you get it kind of thing. So it's wonderful to hear how you mobilized and brought in other people in our industry in the area to help tell those stories and to help those businesses and those people get back on their feet again. Thank you so much for doing that.
No, thank you so much. It's been really rewarding. And I like shout out to all the great communications people that just really jumped in. We've had big agencies like Zeno and Weber. We've had smaller agencies like our friends at Hustle and Co. And then just lots of freelancer and independent professionals that, really just wanted to jump in and help. And, if anyone ever is in this position in a different part of the country and wants to know our playbook, I'm happy to talk about lessons learned and how to organize a group like this because people are busy and they have other jobs and they have paying jobs that are doing it. But I think that what I really learned is that, as you said, a lot of people just really want to help. And, we could put, you might not have had, $100,000 to give to some organization to help out, but you could, pitch local media to help tell these stories and help get the word out for these guys and help them in their recovery.
We urge everyone who's listening to this, if they want to help out, to get in touch with Jennifer. We'll make sure we put all the links in the show notes. Jennifer, thanks for joining us today and sharing your perspectives. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
We are not done with you yet, however. We
Okay.
are going to segue now. Yeah, we're going to segue now into the rapid fire question portion of our podcast. This is where we steal a page from inside the actor studio. We ask our guests a series of rapid fire questions meant to elicit a simple answer, maybe a laugh or two. With your indulgence, Jennifer Acree, let's begin with rapid fire question number one. What is your favorite news source?
I would say my go-to on a daily basis is Axios. I love the format. I love the way that they kind of do almost like the TLDR of like what are the things you need to know. And then I'm really big on all these Substacks and podcasts. I listen to a ton of podcasts. I'm kind of obsessed with this one. I don't know if you Communication Breakdown. Do you know that one with Steve Dowling and Craig Carroll? It's a
Substack
great,
is, yeah,
yeah.
Substack is where the next 5 years of information is going to come from, for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Yeah,
And this podcast, the Communications Breakdown, it's almost like the Monday morning quarterback for what happened in communications that, and they break down like a specific issue or thing. I love it.
love it.
I
Rapid
want to
fire
reach out to them.
question.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
great.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Rapid fire question number two. What's your favorite social media platform?
I'd say LinkedIn and Instagram. Those are pretty much the two I use most frequently.
For sure. Rapid fire question number three. Coffee or alcohol?
Well, coffee 100% during the week. And then a couple wine glasses of wine or two on the weekend.
Gotta have it. Rapid fire question number three. I'm sorry, number four. What's your favorite on the run food?
I'd say a handful of almonds or a protein bar.
Those travel well. Rapid fire
They do.
question number five. What do you want to be after you finish this career?
Oh, that one's easy. A professional pickleball player. I'm not good enough, but I like to play. How about recreational pickleball player?
That works. That works.
Yeah.
I enjoy playing golf with my daughter. I'm not very good, but I still enjoy it. It's
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
matters.
yeah, yeah, exactly. As long as you're having fun.
Jennifer, this has been a great conversation. Please let people know how they can find you online.
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just obviously my name. JSA+Partners.co. Reach out there. We also have a newsletter, a Substack newsletter called Talking Points, where we analyze different things in communications. I actually think it's really great. We have a lot of great content in there, so I would ask people if they want to know more to subscribe to that.
Sounds good. We will put everything in the show notes. Thanks again, Jennifer, for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Appold. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials and on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.